Shout out to ITM guys. Make sure y'all checking them out. They're dropping knowledge. They're dropping knowledge. Damn. This could happen. Not saying it's gonna happen. I'm not gonna sit here and look into the crystal ball and make some prediction. All I'm saying is 1 month into 2026, we had a bank failure. The way they got through January, they managed to get like right up to the end of January, then they announced it. They knew that bank was failing. They knew it. The central bankers knew it. Right? The people at the FDIC knew it. The people working for the bank knew it. The 1%ers knew it. I go back and watch Margin Call. Watch that movie. If you guys never watched Margin Call, watch Margin Call. Watch it. At some point within the banks, they know this is it. Like I said, it's a brace for impact moment. They know it. And they do everything they can to avoid it or soften the blow. Like, look, we can drag everybody else down, or let's get our money and just pawn off all our bad debt on everybody else. They'll do it. Right? They'll do it. Think about it, man. If let's say that, and this is me speculating here, guys. This is not a thing. I'm just imagine if a bank the size of Fifth Third or PNC or Union Bank, let's say those three, were to announce tomorrow that basically they're insolvent. And they close those three banks down. And then 2 days or 3 days after that, you hear that regulators are looking at Citibank or Citigroup. That's all it would take. Those four banks, those four institutions. That's all it would take. There will be a massive run on banks. The market would crater. It would absolutely crater. The rest of the world would be looking at this like, all right, we definitely got to get out of dollars now. Like she said, it only takes a few banks for this thing to go crazy. It only takes a few. And, people ask me like, man, what are you going to do? Why? Like, I'm not wealthy like that. Right? I'm not wealthy like that. So I'm along for the ride. I'm doing all right. People just take a haircut. You lose 75% of your wealth for the ride. I'm doing all right. You lose 75% of your wealth. Can you survive that? Yeah, we lost 75%. So at the end of the day, everyone is still where they are. You know what I mean? It's just everybody lost all his money. Like, there'll be some 1%ers who aren't in the 1% anymore. You know what I mean? There'll be some millionaires who are no longer millionaires. They're down there 100,000aires. And so on and so on and so on. You look at someone like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or those boys like Zuckerberg. All right, they lost 75% of their wealth. It's all paper money anyway at that point. Right? So, man, I just don't know what to say. Fellas, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. There we go. Brother Carlos, man, you got a wrench behind your name now. Brother Carlos has a wrench. You're definitely a day one. Appreciate you. Man, I don't know, guys. I don't know. You definitely want to invest your money in something that's real. The fiat currency is never, ever, ever going to go the distance. It is what it is. It's never going to go the distance. Try to figure out a way to, well, here's another thing too. Here's the thing. If when the Great Depression hit, the people who were at the bottom, man, they got hit the worst. That's the people who are in the bread lines, the people who are out with the signs looking for food, will work for food. You have people out there with brand new cars, saying they'll sell that. Man, imagine someone with a brand new Lamborghini and a sign on this, and man, I'll sell this Lamborghini for, best offer, $10,000 or whatever, $50,000 for this Lamborghini, $400,000 car. I'll take 10 grand right now, because they got to feed their family. it'll be rough, right? It'll be rough, but Americans are resilient. Americans will get through it. Americans will get through it. No, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. We're gonna talk about some air traffic control stuff here soon too. I've been looking at what's going on. We're gonna talk about some ATC stuff. It's funny because people are like, man, what's your air traffic controller like? Yeah, like, how come you don't talk air traffic? I don't know. I don't know. I can. And if it's a story that breaks, and it's a story, of course we're gonna talk about it. I'll give you an inside scoop, but just to follow it, it would have to be a separate channel to follow ATC every day. Would just be a separate channel. And I don't have the bandwidth for that right now. So, there we go. I froze there for a second. I'm going to end it there, guys. I'm sitting here. I'm just sitting here. I'm thinking about my daughter. I'm thinking about her future, thinking about my future. Fellas, ladies, because we got ninja watchers out there. We have ladies who watches. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know, man. If this goes down, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Fortunately, I have a family, and we're resourceful, and a lot of us are successful, and it's just a matter of us coming together as a family and figuring out how we're going to, take care of one another and what we're going to do. I have very close friends that I consider my family. Same thing, if something like that were to happen, security is the top of my mind. Like, how are you going to be safe? Because people aren't going to just sit there and starve. They're not going to just sit there and starve. They're going to do what they got to do. They're going to go get that bread, man. They're going to go get it. Whatever they got to do to go get it. And then people will still be working. There'll still be money moving around. But again, the dollar. Like they were talking about that buy-in, the bail-in. I remember I think it was India. This might have been a handful of years ago in India. One day people woke up and the government in India decided they're going to a new currency. Like, it's the same currency, but they had different, physical bills. And what they did was they told people, bring in the old bills and we'll exchange them for the new bills. But when they did that, the value exchange wasn't equal. So imagine you go in with $50,000 and then they give you $25,000 worth of the new currency. Like, that's all. They just cut it like that. What are you going to do? And they told you, if you still have the old bills after this certain date, they're all worthless. So basically, you're going to take what we tell you you can have. We're going to tell you how much you're worth. Or you had $100,000, you're worth $75,000 now. You're worth $25,000 now. The government told them how much their new currency was worth. So bring in the old bills. We give you the new bills, but this is how much the new bill is worth. This is how they handled their problem. They had a similar situation. Bro, I'm here to tell you that could absolutely happen in America. The only difference would be a massive uprising, maybe. I mean, America's improving it. They'll sit down and take pretty much anything, but something like this, I could see a massive uprising. What happened during the Great Depression? What were the criminals doing? Right? What was Bonnie and Clyde and them doing? What were the Baker boys doing? What was, what I'm saying? What were they doing? What was John Dillinger doing? You're gonna see something like that in America. People are gonna like, yo, we got to get this bread no matter what. We got to get this bread. And it's gonna be some people who go out there and it's like, hey, I'm Banzai. Right? They gonna go full kamikaze with it, like, hey, Banzai, I gotta get it. Because I gotta feed my family. And they just changed the game and they took what little bread I had and they gave me back some rocks. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn these rocks into some gold or some silver. About to be Robin Hood out here. Robbing from the rich and giving to me. That's what they're going to be saying. Like, you're supposed to rob from the rich, get to the poor. Well, I am poor. That's what they're going to be doing in America. That's what I think is going to happen. Brother Carlos said that happened in Mexico. was like 10 years older when he was 10. Wow, that happened in Mexico. Wow, when they make a new, a new currency, a new bill, tell you to bring in the old bills, and then they tell you how much this is how much you get into the new bills. And if you don't bring it in by this cutoff date, all them bills you got is worthless. Could you imagine if that happened, guys? How many people in America is just gonna sit there and take it? A lot will, but it's a lot that won't. Hey, bro, we're gonna lose anyway. The slums become way worse. Oh man, I hope we're wrong. I hope we don't have another banking crisis, but I don't see how we can avoid it. All that bad paper is out there. And thanks to Brother Pitney, man, we know exactly how much bad paper is out there according to these people. I'm trying to find it now. Right? That number right there, man, 50 to 60% of U.S. commercial real estate loans are projected to mature over the next 10 years. And I saw this stat a few years ago. So it's not like I'm pretty sure we're already, so it's like less than 10 years, but you have all of these commercial real estate, all the big paper, bro. They're coming in. They need to turn those loans over. Remember, they got, $200 million at 3% or wherever it was. And now you got to come in there like the best you're going to get is 6%. We got to double your interest rate. They can't afford it. They can't afford it. And they can't credit default swap themselves out of this, which is what they were doing with the paperclip and the marker and all that. They're not going to be able to do it. And there's nothing we can do on this end. I mean, if you're a 1%er, you know what's coming. You get your valuables, you get your valuable stuff, you get your security, you get on your plane and you get to a country where you can defend yourself. Right? You go somewhere where you can defend yourself with your own little private little army. If you stay in America, your private army ain't going to be big enough. But again, I think at the end of the day, I'm going to think on this some more, but at the end of the day, America still has the most powerful military the world has ever known, our species has ever known. Push comes to shove, whoever wounds up with the world currency, the dominant currency, they're going to have to partner up with America because you need somebody to protect you. So if anything, we're just going to extort, whoever, the euro or the Chinese currency that Brother Penny was talking about, the RMB or the euro or whoever has that currency that's going to be the new world currency, they're going to have to sit down and talk to America like, well, y'all going to need our protection. Otherwise, somebody's going to come take our country and take our currency. You know what I mean? America will have the power to keep currency unstable, destabilized if we want to, just by sheer force. So anyway, remember the homework assignment, guys. If the US dollar were to collapse, what country will become the dominant currency and will be the world currency? We got China in there. We got the euro. A lot of people seem to think it's the euro. What country? Let us know. I'm going to be back tomorrow early to talk about that. We'll do at least 2 shows tomorrow. I'll do an early show when we're going to talk about currency. We'll do a later show when we just talk about some red pill stuff so I can get my mind off of this and just talk about something silly or stupid. We're going to talk about, why is it that the Chaz and the Tyrones, like the top tier guys and the high value men have no problem getting women to agree to go on coffee dates with them, but the bottom 80 can't seem to catch a break. Women start tripping when they talk about coffee dates. We're going to talk about that tomorrow late. We might even have to make it a lit Saints show because I'm going to need to drink. I'm going to need to drink behind this news. A bank failed in America and it didn't even make it into mainstream media. No one talked about it. Only YouTubers are talking about it. The only article I can find came from Yahoo Finance. Wall Street Journal wasn't talking about it. That's crazy. New York Times wasn't talking about it. The Post wasn't talking about it. LA Times wasn't talking about it. That's crazy, man. That has to be a plan. They have to be working. They're in cahoots, as my auntie used to say. They in cahoots.